Edumagicians, welcome to the Edumagic Podcast with your host, Dr. Sam Fecich. Dr. Sam is a professor of education, author of Edumagic, and a pumpkin spice latte fan. This podcast is designed for pre-service teachers. Remember, friends, teaching doesn't begin at graduation, but during that first class at 8 a.m. Let's get this party started.
I'm Casey Bell from the Google Teacher Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hey Edumagicians, it's Dr. Sam here, the future teacher coach, and I am really excited for today's episode. I actually had to go back in the archives on my blog and on my podcast to find I have never talked about this topic on my show, which is really surprising because it's a passion area of mine. So first, let me apologize for never sharing about this until now. Today I'm going to be sharing about Google is the new teaching resume. We're going to talk about what it means to Google yourself, what to look for, and how to kind of up the bar a little bit on your social media and on your results that come up for Google. So let's jump right in here. So one of my most favorite assignments that I give my students around the beginning of the year is to Google themselves. And I know that sounds really easy, like you just open up Google and you type in your name. But really, we're going to look at the results of what comes up and really analyze them. Whenever I do this activity with my students, their assignment is to go Google yourself and come back and be ready to discuss in class the results. So my students, they go out, they Google themselves, and we come back and we discuss things like what's the number of hits under each of the categories under the search bar. So is it web results, photos, videos, news? How many of those hits were accurate? So how many of those were actually you? 0, 1, 2, 10? How many were actually accurate? And of those accurate results, were they positive and professional, or were they kind of neutral, or were they like negative? So are they things you don't want somebody to see? Were the things that were not so great, let's say, how can that be improved upon? And overall, what was your feeling about this experience? Was it, oh my gosh, this was great. Look at my amazing digital presence. Was it, it's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's kind of neutral. Or is it, oh, I really should work on this part of myself as a professional? And then one of our last topics that we talk about is rating your online presence and what you can do to get better, because we know as teachers, we're always learning and growing. There's always room for improvement. So we talk about some ways to make that better. At the beginning of class, when they all come back from Googling themselves, I have them share out the results with their neighbors with Think, Pair, Share, or write it on a Padlet. What are some things that they find? And then I pause and I tell them, let's imagine you're applying for your dream job. So close your eyes, picture your dream job. What is that classroom like? And you're reading that post and you're like, oh my gosh, this posting was made just for me. I'm going to apply right now. You have all your stuff in. And now the assistant superintendent Googles your name. And this is what he finds. So everything that you had just found whenever you Googled your name, that's exactly what that person finds. How would that person see you as a professional educator? What are some things that they found? Well, maybe I had some students find GPAs or on the dean's list or stuff with athletic, music, all those things. That's great. Those are good things. So we talk about what are some ways that, that can help you out in that Google search. But is there anything that's making you stand out a little bit more from the other searches? So friends, I want you to pause here and I want you to Google yourself. Google your first and last name. Google your first name, middle name, last name. Google some sort of combination of your names. So for example, Samantha Fecich, I might Google Sam Fecich. I want you to try incognito mode and see what happens. Document your results. So get a little piece of Post-it note and document your results. What are you finding? What results do you get? Ask yourself the question, what do these results say about you as a teacher? So maybe the results that you have are a little bit mixed. Maybe some stuff is really good, like that GPA, the dean's list stuff for athletics and music and other things, volunteer opportunities, camps and stuff like that. That's great. Those are kind of like neutral, good, professional things. But maybe you found something that is not so great. So, what do we do if we have something online that is actually accurate, that is us, but doesn't really show us in the best light? What are some things that you can do for that? So, for example, I occasionally have a student who finds something that they might not want a future employer to see, like a photo or two, right? You might be a little bit embarrassed. Maybe you have something like that tagged. So this gives an opportunity to think about tagging photos. And let me go back to whenever I was in grad school. I would tell my friends, whenever we were out, don't tag me in any pictures online because I want to protect my digital presence. Thinking about, when people are tagging you, there are rules you can set up on different social media platforms to ask to be tagged. They have to ask to tag you so you can approve or disapprove that. So I would recommend, looking through some of the photos, see if they represent you as the professional educator that you are. Some of you might have a lot of friends online. And I know as we're following people and liking things, remembering that all of that following, liking, commenting, reposting, resharing, that's all a representation of you, and who your online relationships are representation of you. So think about that. Maybe you might want to clean that up a little bit. So make sure that you're representing yourself as a professional educator in all that you do online, all that you are posting. Maybe you're finding information. So maybe you didn't find anything about yourself online. And maybe I didn't find anything about myself online. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. Well, friends, if I could, I would insert a very loud, annoying buzzer sound here, because maybe in the past that was a good thing. You don't want anything online about you. You want to keep that completely private. But today, want to be found online by employers. Because if you're not controlling your digital presence, then who is? And that's kind of scary to think about. Finding nothing online about you as an employer, is looking through any pictures or anything like that, it kind of like, wait, why isn't this person online? What's going on? It's kind of like, what are they hiding? What's going on there? So think about, you don't want a future employer to search online and find a desert of nothingness there. So you want something to show up. And in those search results, you want that to be positive and professional. Maybe you weren't found online because you have a common name. That happens too, right? Maybe it's the same name as a celebrity, or, maybe it's just spelled a little bit differently. So think about how you can start to craft your digital presence as you pull in maybe your middle initial or your middle name, and then use that across your professional account. So you could use that name on your resume, your digital portfolio, social media, and start to create amazing things under that professional name. I had Amanda Reichert on the show a couple years ago, and she shares about her digital presence. She did an activity similar to this during her college career. And she shared how there was Amanda Reichert online who did unsavory things. So she started to brand herself as Amanda Jean. And everything she put out there was under Amanda Jean. And honestly, when we first met in Philadelphia at ISTE, I didn't even know her last name. I just thought it was Jean. So, starting to brand yourself as an educator could be really powerful. Now, when you're on your resume and things like that, and you're using your full name, you can put a link to your digital portfolio, your Instagram, your social, all that good professional stuff as a QR code on your resume, giving people specific places to go to find your professional accounts. So let's remember, friends, besides conducting background checks on you as a teacher candidate, many school districts are going to Google you. For example, in EduMagic, a guide for pre-service teachers, I share a story about Kaylee Strahan, who shares about her digital presence and how it helped her get a job in Colorado. The principal was looking at her digital portfolio and was really impressed and wanted to get to know her more. So your digital presence can truly help you to get a job. School districts that are Googling you, they want to know you. They want to know what you've done to impact the lives of kids. They want to know what you've done. So take advantage of that opportunity and showcase your professional skills. You can do that on Instagram, have professional Pinterest, professional Twitter, have a digital portfolio. Because if you're going to have a digital presence, you want to make it wow, not meh. You want to have an amazing digital presence. So I encourage you, friends, get out there, put yourself out there. Start creating amazing content on Google that's going to help you stand out from the stack of resumes. Because remember, professionalism is not a light switch that you turn on and off when you enter a classroom. Professionalism online is something that you've built through sharing resources, sharing content, sharing ideas, participating in conversation, and networking. So get out there, get online, and have fun with it. It really is an amazing tool to have in your teacher tool belt. Until next time, friends, you have the EduMagic in you. Bye for now.
And there you have it, EduMagicians. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. For more EduMagic, check out sfessage.com and follow Dr. Sam on Twitter and Instagram @sfessage. Until next time, you have the EduMagic within you.